Agent Molt gets the needle. Agent Molt was alive. That still felt like an administrative error. He trudged up the steps of the department's London office, ribs aching, scales still tender from the flapjack incident, as the paperwork insisted on calling it. Incident was a polite word for nearly exploding in a rifling mass of flute-accompanied tentacles. He'd survived though, solved the case even, identified the summoning anchor, neutralised the fungus, saved 3 civilians and half a bakery. Didn't matter, nothing ever did. Suffering syphilis, he muttered, rubbing the spot where the fungus had tried to turn his stomach into a portal. Some humans thought lizard people ran the world. If only, they barely even ran their own meetings. Lizard people was a misnomer anyway, they were more inclusive than that. The proper phrase was reptile folk. The boss was a tortoise named Samson for syphilis' sake, but the lizards always seemed to get the flack. No one ever accused the snakes of being the Illuminati. It was always, the lizards this, the lizards that. Meanwhile, the real rulers, Homo Philinus, floated above Kathmandu in their palace of glass and smugness. They even had a branch office in Catford. Catford! Molt tried not to think about it. He had enough trauma without adding feline bureaucracy to the pile. He reached the meeting room door, straightened his jacket, went in. Supervisor Cricks was perched on the chair like a damp gargoyle, clipboard in hand, licking his eyeballs between notes. Skinks always looked smug when they moisturised. "Molt," Cricks said, without looking up. "Return to work review. Sit." Molt sat. Cricks licked his left eye. "Any lingering symptoms?" "No." "Involuntary glyph formation?" "No." "Digestive anomalies?" Molt glared. "No." Cricks paused, tongue hovering. "Heard any flute lately?" Molt twitched, hard. "No flute." "Good," Cricks said, licking his other eye with bureaucratic satisfaction. "We don't want a recurrence." Cricks flipped a page. "Given your recent near detonation, you are being placed on night duties." Molt braced himself. "Cleopatra's needle," Cricks said. "Today." That was all. No welcome back, no sympathy, just a location and a dismissal. Cleopatra's needle wasn't just a monument, it was a psychic sump, a Victorian-era occult device designed to absorb negative ghost energy before it seeped into the city and made everyone start writing tragic poetry. Every few months it needed venting. The department used to have a whole team for this, now it was light duties for recovering agents. The tool for the job? A traffic cone. Well, an ectoplasm diffuser disguised as a traffic cone. It filtered the spectral output, vented the harmless energy into the air, and trapped the toxic residue inside the cone's inner lining. "Dispose of properly," the label said. One cone had gone missing once. A drunk had put it on his head. That had been a very nasty episode. Molt sighed, collected the cone, and headed for the Thames. Cleopatra's needle loomed above him, humming faintly with a century of accumulated Victorian misery. Molt dropped the glamour that made him look human to any observing mammals and cast the invisibility talisman. It flickered like a dying bulb. "Suffering syphilis," he muttered, tapping on the talisman orb. The flickering eased and he began to climb, claws gripping the stone with the easy confidence of reptile folk wall walking. Halfway up, the talisman sputtered, then steadied. He kept going. At the top, he placed the cone. It hummed, it vibrated, it began to glow faintly. The venting started, thin wisps of grey energy drifting upward, smelling faintly of laudanum and chimney sweeps. A spectral Victorian child appeared beside him holding a dead pigeon. "Got any gin?" she asked hopefully. Molt didn't look at it. "No, not today." The child vanished. The cone gave a final ping and settled into a steady glow. Job done. Then the obelisk made a tiny sound, a soft crick. A hairline crack appeared along one edge. Molt stared at it, closed his eyes, exhaled. More bloody paperwork. He began his descent. Halfway down, the invisibility talisman failed completely with a bright traitorous pop. One moment he was unseen, the next he was a full-size reptile folk agent clinging to a national monument like a startled gecko. He rushed to recast his disguised glamour. A tourist screamed, another dropped their coffee, a third began filming. "Suffering syphilis!" Molt locked eyes with the trio of witnesses. It would have been far easier if he'd been a chameleon. A faint ripple of green light passed between them. You saw nothing unusual, Molt said calmly. You are admiring the architecture. You are now going to get a coffee and reconsider your life choices. The tourists nodded dreamily and wandered off. Molt flicked out his tongue twice to magically erase the camera footage. Another lizard person sighting successfully contained. By syphilis was he good. Molt climbed the rest of the way down, dusted off his jacket and trudged back toward the office to file all the correct paperwork. Form 17B, Invisibility Talisman Malfunction. Form 22F, Public Mesmerization Incident. Form 9Q, Unexpected Structural Crack in Ancient Occult Infrastructure. And worst of all, the Cone Disposal Chain of Custody Log. Light duties, they said. Ease back in, they said. Suffering syphilis. He kept walking.